We move right along to the third game of the Loop region, which is set in Chicago, and I'm going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I've gone with the all UNC squad of Jerry Stackhouse, Vince Carter, and MJ. I forgot all about MJ and his rivalry with the Cavs, excuse me, as I get my tongue twisted, and that was just an added bonus. But what I wanted to do was do the all UNC team, and I might do that again if I get the opportunity to get Antoine Jameson whenever I play the Warriors. I'm assuming he's in this game, he should be. But yeah, so the Cavs have Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Wasn't a bad player. It was actually an all-star before LeBron got there. And people like to forget that when they say, "Oh, LeBron had no help." But no, he was an all-star. And Andre Miller was on this squad. And they went with Clarence Weatherspoon. Now, Clarence Weatherspoon wasn't a bad player. Nice block by Ilgauskas. Wasn't a bad player. But you would have thought that they would have gone with Ricky Davis for a game like this. His game is tailor-made for this pure athleticism. There's MJ bricking a three. I'm still convinced that there's some kind of Weber effect when it comes to shooting outside here, because his jump shot, along with many other jump shots in this game, are just not good. Maybe it's me. I'll go with that. But the opposition shooting jumpers isn't that effective either. There's a massive block by Augustus again, and he's going to pose some problems here because I've got three guards. MJ's really playing center right now. I've got three guards, or / forward if you want to call it Vince Carter, but he plays more of a guard anyway. And whilst they can do anything they want offensively, there's going to be problems when it comes to just finishing with power against Ilgauskas, as well as getting him off the glass. Now, I've always had problems with that anyway. There's Andre Miller throwing it down. I've always had problems with that anyway, and that's using guys like Tim Duncan and then Alonzo Mourning. It's going to be even more difficult when I don't have a big in there. But I'm down 6-7, but my game breaker's nearly fully charged. There's Ilgauskas doing exactly what I said. If I had Garnett or even Tracy McGrady there, that may have easily been a block, but it's not. And I'm just going to live with that. MJ throwing up a head fake, goes nowhere, takes it into the lane, and is able to flush it down. I'm down by 1 point here to the Cavs. I can't lose to the Cavs. If I lose to the Cavs, I'll be disappointed by myself. Sweet block by Vince Carter. I don't know why I pulled out that dunk with Stackhouse. But yeah, that was a good defensive effort by Carter. If he's able to provide stuff with that, I'm very happy because I'm not expecting that at all. Vince Carter's able to punch down a left-handed dunk over Ilgauskas. Maybe that should be his nickname. Zilgauskas. No, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. I'm down by 1 still. Nice move by Jordan, but it still activates the game break. I did not want to do that. I wanted to activate it as soon as I got the ball. I'm happy to let them just go in for a dunk if they want to take it. Please be my guest. Take the dunk or layup or whatever you want. Just, you know, I'll even let you shoot a 3 if you like, but make sure you miss it. And I get the board. Instead, Miller hits a floater in the lane. I've got Jordan with the ball. He's got Ilgauskas. I'm just going to shoot that straight away. As soon as I cross over Ilgauskas, no one can really handle that fadeaway from my favorite spot. And bam, game is turned right on its head. 11-8 now. But they're, you know, 2/3 of the way towards their game breaker too. So I can't get complacent here. If I get complacent, that could be perhaps the worst thing in the world. Clarence Weatherspoon with a nice dunk. With Clarence Weatherspoon, he came into the league, and a lot of people said he was like a Charles Barkley, you know, powerful player. They've just scored 2 straight points, by the way, so there goes all that hard work with the game breaker. But yeah, a lot of people compared him to Barkley, you know, undersized, powerful, able to play the 4 really. And he had a couple of good seasons. He was obviously drafted by the Sixers. Was traded to the Celtics for Dino Raja, but that trade was rescinded. That was in '97. There's a turnover by me, and they can tie the ball game up right here, and they do with a sweet alley-oop, and they're right at a game breaker. So I'm going to have to defuse this game breaker, otherwise I'm in all sorts of trouble because I haven't done anything since I've scored 1 basket since I got my game breaker, and they're backing right off. So outside shooting, game break, or trick points is going to be the way for me to win this. But yeah, so that trade was rescinded. Yeah, and they've got their game breaker, so I'm like, not happy now. I can't even keep it from them unless if I get some kind of steal or a turnover. Nothing happens. Weatherspoon goes in for the dunk, and I can't be too unhappy with that. It could have been worse if they went in for if they took a three. It would have been a 3-point lead for them instead of a 1-point lead. So I'm still well and truly within this game, but I'm going to have to take care of business here coming down the stretch. Getting back to Weatherspoon though, he finished up with the Knicks. He had a solid career. Nothing to the point where people were hyping him to, but it wasn't a bad career, and you know, it's good to see him being recognised and not forgotten. It's very easy to forget players like that because there's so many of them. That's a sweet hookup from Jordan, running the other way and flipping it over his head to Vince Carter. Was that Vince? I think it was Vince. Or it could have been Stackhouse. They've got very similar jersey. I think it was actually Stackhouse. These guys, Stackhouse and Jordan, were actually teammates in Washington when Jordan was on the Wizards, and Jordan traded Richard Hamilton for Stackhouse. Wasn't necessarily a bad move. Now, people might think that is stupid because obviously Richard Hamilton went on to winning a title with the Pistons. But that's not really an indictment of how that trade affected, because Richard Hamilton was perfect in the situation of being maybe the third best scorer, and I guess really the fifth best player. Oh, not the fifth best player, but the fourth best player on a team. He wasn't very good in the role of being the first or second option of a team. And when that Pistons team had Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace as first and second options offensively, that's when Hamilton was able to work off the screens and really come into his own. When he was alongside Jordan, those two played pretty well, but his body was breaking down. Remember, he had that groin injury, and that really slowed down. And then Jordan had the knee injury, and they never really got a chance to elevate their game. Now, if the Wizards, in hindsight, could have picked up a better scorer to really help them in the half court, maybe we're talking about a different situation altogether. But they weren't. So getting Jerry Stackhouse, who is much more comfortable being the number 1 or number 2 option. Remember last game I told you he averaged 30 points per game, or close to, sorry, in 2001. That was probably in their best interest. So the trade wasn't necessarily bad. Look, it helped both teams, put it that way. And they very nearly made the playoffs in that second, in Jordan's second year. They're only a couple of games away from doing that, and that's despite all the injuries. And the team was heavily fragmented too, with a lot of bad chemistry and things of that nature. Christian Laettner being unhappy, etc., etc. So, yeah, there's a little bit of history for you there. Vince Carter and Andre Miller are still in the NBA right now. Zydrunas Ilgauskas is obviously retired. Jordan's obviously retired. Stackhouse is obviously retired. Stackhouse retired not too long ago. He played on the Brooklyn Nets when their first season when they were in Brooklyn. He hit some big shots for them in the opening part of that season. And Jordan finishes off with the game-breaking dunk, and we get the win over the Cavs.
Ooh, wait! That game was a fight to the finish, player.